All right, let's talk about the LangChain universe. If you're building anything with AI, you've definitely heard the name. But here's the thing, it's not just one tool anymore. It's like a whole solar system of them. So today, we're going to draw you a map to make sense of it all so you know exactly what to reach for and when. Let's dive in. So you've probably seen these names flying around, right? LangChain, LangGraph, LangSmith, LangFlow. It feels like a new one pops up every other week, and it is super easy to get kind of lost in all that. You're probably asking yourself, okay, which one do I actually use? Which one's for building? Which one's for debugging? And what is the real difference between a chain and a graph anyway?
Well, if you're feeling that confusion, trust me, you are not alone. But here's the good news, it's actually way simpler than it sounds. In the next few minutes, we're going to break it all down and give you a really clear mental model for how all these pieces fit together.
Okay, so let's kick things off with the OG, the one that started it all, LangChain. The best way to think about it is like a recipe. You know, a really simple step-by-step recipe for your AI. You do step 1, then you do step 2, then you do step 3. There's no jumping around, no going back, it's just a straight line. And that's why they're called chains. You're just linking one step to the next.
So here's a classic example. Imagine you're building an automated research assistant. It's a perfect use case for a chain. First, the LLM comes up with some research questions based on what you asked. Then, it hits the web, searches, and scrapes the pages for answers. After that, another LLM call summarizes everything it found. And finally, one last call pulls all those summaries into a nice, neat report. See? It's a straight shot. A to B to C to D. Super straightforward, totally predictable. But what if you need something smarter? Yeah, that's the big but, isn't it? That whole straight line process has a major drawback. What if your application needs to be more reflective? What if it needs to test its own work and, if it finds a mistake, loop back and try again? A simple chain just can't do that. It doesn't know how to go backwards.
And this slide, right here, this is the core idea. LangChain is for these linear workflows. The technical term is a directed acyclic graph, or DAG. Fancy term, but all it means is one-way street. Information flows in one direction, A to B to C, and it never ever goes backwards. LangGraph, on the other hand, is all about introducing cycles. It's about letting your application go from C back to B if it needs to. It allows for loops, for decision-making, and that is the secret sauce for building truly intelligent agents.
So enter LangGraph, and it's super important to get this right. It's not a replacement for LangChain, it's an extension of it. It's specifically designed to handle those cycles, those loops. It lets your applications be stateful, which is just a way of saying they can remember what they've done and make choices based on that memory. They can go back, revisit a step, and try something new. This is what unlocks that next level of complex logic.
Okay, let's make this real. Picture a coding agent that doesn't just write code, but can actually fix its own bugs. So first, it generates a piece of code. Then, the next step is to test that code. Does it pass? If yes, great, we're done. But if it fails, this is the magic moment. The agent takes the error message, loops back to the first step, and tries again. But this time with more information. That cycle, generate, test, learn, retry, that's the superpower you get with LangGraph.
And this isn't just a niche thing for coding, you know? Andrej Karpathy really hit the nail on the head here. He calls it flow engineering. We're shifting away from this basic one-shot prompt and answer model. Instead, we're designing flows where the AI can build up an answer over time, iteratively. And that ability to test and refine its own work, that's what's going to create the next wave of truly robust AI applications.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got LangChain for our straight-line recipes and LangGraph for our smart looping agents. We have the core building blocks. But anyone who's ever built software knows that writing the code is only half the job, right? How do you actually debug these things when they get complex? And maybe even before that, how do you brainstorm and prototype an idea without getting bogged down in code?
Well, that brings us to our next tool. For debugging, what you really need is a microscope. And that's exactly what LangSmith is. Think of it as putting your entire chain or graph under a powerful microscope. It gives you this incredible fine-grained visibility into everything that's happening. You can see every single LLM call, every input, every output, how long each step took, all of it. So when your agent does something weird, you don't have to guess. You can just look through the microscope and see exactly where things went wrong.
And what about that prototyping question? For that, you need a whiteboard, and that's LangFlow. It's this awesome visual drag-and-drop interface. It's literally like sketching on a whiteboard.
You can pull in an LLM node, connect it to a prompt node, connect that to a tool. You're just drawing out the flow of your application. It's perfect for just playing around and testing ideas really quickly before you ever have to write any code.
So, let's tie this all together. These aren't just 4 random tools. They make up a complete development lifecycle. You start with the whiteboard, LangFlow, to sketch out and prototype your idea visually. Then you move to building it. If it's a simple sequential process, you use LangChain, the chain. If it needs complex, stateful logic with loops, you use LangGraph, the graph. And all along the way, you're using the microscope, LangSmith, to debug, monitor, and understand what's really going on under the hood. See? Whiteboard, chain, graph, microscope. It's a complete toolkit.
So there you have it. You've got the whole setup. A whiteboard for your big ideas, chains and graphs for the actual construction, and a microscope to make sure it all works perfectly. You now have everything you need to build those really cool, intelligent, self-correcting applications we've all been talking about. The only real question now is, what are you going to build first?